Oh, gotta get my mic. That's important. All right, everybody, we are live. Welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Going the Distance podcast. My name is Ryan Bennell, and alongside me is my co-host Elijah Span. It is Wednesday, almost at Thursday there. Wednesday, July 6th, a couple days after July 4th. We hope everybody had a fun and safe weekend, blasting some fireworks, cooking some burgers and whatnot. But it's time to talk some sports. Baker Mayfield is on the move. That's big news out of the NFL, as well as over the weekend, Nathan's hot dog eating contest, which we'll get to with Joey Chestnut, debatably the greatest athlete of all time, as well as a major discussion again on just what exactly is happening in the college football world with the Big 12 news reports, the Pac 12 teams on the move. And we're going to wrap things up with Love It or Loathe It as always. But first, before we get into the nitty-gritty, be sure to follow us on social media over at GTD_sports. Other than TikTok, we're at GTDsports.com. You can check out our personal accounts. I'm over at Ryan Bennell 8, while Elijah is at Elijah Span 19. And be sure to check out all of our content on our website, GTDsports.com. And last but not least, use our code on BetUS Sportsbook, GTDS125, where you can get up to a 125% deposit bonus when you put in some of that money. So be sure to use that code. You can find it over on our website. Just click one of the links, and it'll take us straight there. So also, before we get into the episode, if you're watching the video live version, you realize I'm in sunglasses. So I'm not a douche that wears sunglasses in his bedroom at 9 p.m. But
you know what, though? I think I'm going to go grab my sunglasses real quick.
Yeah, is this a sunglasses episode?
Sunglasses episode, yeah, for sure.
I'm about it, dude. It's the vibe. You gotta roll with it. Yeah, so basically the story is, if you remember a few episodes back, my glasses got run over by a truck when I was in College Station, and I went blind or half blind basically for like 3 weeks because my sunglasses are prescription, and I kind of just had to wear those around the house even at night and everything. So finally got my new glasses, right? But then look at that. Like, it's just blue squares when I wear them. And like, yes, they are a blue light lens, but my last glasses were blue light lens. And if you watch any of the other podcasts, that was never a problem. So
never mind.
I don't really know. I'm gonna have to get that fixed. We'll see what the problem is there, because that is just like, it would look like I'm wearing blue tape across my eyes with that stuff. So you find them?
Yeah. No.
No?
No,
No sunglasses vibe for today.
I don't know where my Gucci shades are. That's a problem.
Oh yeah, the Gucci shades. I remember those when we went golfing. All right, well, too bad for no sunglasses vibe. I guess I'll just rock the Men in Black look myself. Let's talk some football. Actually, no. First, before we get into it, let's go highlight lowlight. I almost forgot. I almost skipped over it.
Oh
What do you
yeah.
got for us?
So Stranger Things came out V2 of season 4, and it was sick. So that was nice. It did not disappoint.
So for somebody who's never explained Stranger Things, who's never watched Stranger Things, could you explain kind of what the difference of season 4 and V2 is, or is it just like two separate parts of the same season?
So it's the same season, but they just didn't release the 8th and 9th episodes at the same time because they're super long. They're probably still editing them. I don't know. Because like season 8 is an hour and a half, and then episode 8 is an hour and a half, and episode 9 is 2.5 hours.
Jeez, so it's like a literal movie in each episode. Sheesh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the shows that's been on my list to like watch. Because I remember watching or trying to watch it whenever it first came out a while back, like the first season, and I got like 20 minutes into it, kind of got bored, turned it off, and now it's like one of the biggest shows in pop culture currently. So I feel like I almost have to watch it.
You should definitely watch it. It was the season finale was so good that I restarted the show because I haven't watched like season 1 since it first came out.
Yeah.
And the kids are so young and adorable. The first season, they're all like 11 and shit in real life. So it's cute.
I just started rewatching Game of Thrones, and that's been it's been fucking awesome to say the least. Just going back and realizing how good of a show it is.
Yeah,
it's
but then
so
it's
good.
a disappointment.
Dude. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that, but
that's why I wanted to rewatch it so many times. I'm just like, ugh, it ends in nothing.
I get that, but it's just so good. To me, the last season is still good. I know it's frustrating. I'm not going to give any spoilers just in case anybody hasn't watched it. Can't really get into too much, but I still like it, but anyway, what do you got for your low light?
It's not football season yet, and I just keep on thinking about football.
That is a
And
fact.
I just am reminded that I'm not. I'm thinking about gambling on football. I almost put my largest. I damn near put $100 on Ohio State to win college football.
I think that's not a bad bet, but
I think
the only
it's the
thing
best
is,
bet.
I don't know. I was going to say something about like all the chaos right now happening in college football kind of having an effect on next season, but I don't really know how much of an effect it will have, you know?
No, not really. It'll just be
Yeah.
like impending stuff. Probably some spitefulness towards USC and UCLA. Definitely a lot of spite towards UT and OU in the Big 12. Definitely a lot of. There's definitely going to be a lot of fuck you chants in the crowds this season.
Oh, especially like in the student sections. Yeah, like
Oh,
anytime in the Pac-12, anytime USC, UCLA comes to town, it's going to be that team's Super Bowl for the year just because they want to beat the shit out of them for the last time. And even for like the small rivalry games too, you know, like for TCU versus Texas, you know, like that's not a major rivalry, but it's a minor in-state rivalry.
We don't like each other.
Yeah, we do not like each other, don't get along. And so it'll kind of be like, well, this is the last chance we have of playing them for a really long time, probably. So we're going to want to take advantage of that. But no, I mean, I agree. That would also be a low light of mine, is that we still have to wait for football season. But we're getting there, man. We're over the hump. We can see the horizon
slowly but
right
surely,
now.
it
Slowly
will be
but
fall.
surely.
Yeah, I'm a little over summer now that I have a job and I'm working full time again. It's just so fucking hot.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit over it.
We got a question here coming in. What do you think is going to be the next domino to fall in the realignment stage? We're about to get into kind of a deep dive on like the new rumors and everything. But just to answer your question, the next domino to fall is probably going to be a Pac-12 team. Not any one in particular, but I think a Pac-12 team is going to leave the conference, and that's going to kind of open the floodgates for that entire conference to cease to exist almost, for everybody to move elsewhere. So if I had to say what the next step is, that's probably the next step.
Pac-12 is going to be dead. It's dead.
It is. Yeah, that's inevitable at this point, probably. The only question mark is whether or not the ACC will continue to exist, but we'll get to that in a bit. First, my highlight. Oops, just dropped that. My highlight from this weekend, 4th of July weekend, always a good time. I got my redneck experience in for the year. One of my good buddies has a lake house out in, I think, Corsicana, Texas, out in the country. And they put on a hell of a fireworks show just with like the boxes you can buy at stands on the side of a road, which is something I'm not very accustomed to. Rode some jet skis, went on a boat, drank probably 730 packs of Coors Light. It was a great time. So yeah, it was fun. And if I had to say my low light, it would be that I'm in the process of, not necessarily in the process quite yet, but I'm getting ready to move for my master's program. And the move from DFW to Phoenix is going to be a bit of a long trek. Got like a 15-hour drive in a U-Haul coming up. Got to pack up this entire room you see behind me, and it's going to be a long journey, but hopefully it'll be worth it. Do you have any tips, Elijah, considering I know you've moved a couple times in like the last year or so?
So many times the last year. No, it just sucks. You're just in for personal hell. Don't put it off. You're gonna have boxes in your apartment because there's like stages of moving, right? So first stuff is packing up your shit that you already have, which sucks. Then you got to move the shit, and when you move the shit into your place, there's a lot of shit that you have to unpack because you just put it all in boxes, right? Like kitchenware, underwear, whatever. Don't live out of a box for like 2 weeks straight. Just rip off the Band-Aid, get it done in like 2 days. Because if you don't, then it's going to be 2 weeks to 3 weeks. And it's just going to be like, ugh, I still have to do it. And like, just this long, drawn-out process. So just rip the Band-Aid off and get as much done as you can in like 2 days.
Yeah, it's going to be basically those 2 days are just going to be completely gone to moving.
But when you get those 2 days done, then you're like, oh my God, I've been living in a new place. This is awesome.
Yeah, I do kind of get that. Even just throughout, like, moving dorms in college, like it was always terrible having to actually, carry stuff up the elevator, especially if it was like furniture. But then once you have everything unpacked, it's kind of fun for me to like, like you can't really see all of my walls, but like my posters, I have like a couple flags here and there. Like it's always fun for me to put like the aesthetic and the visual together of the room, but the actual, organization is going to be a bitch.
Yeah.
Alrighty though, enough about life itself. Let's get into sports. Football news. Baker Mayfield is now a Carolina Panther. Just happened this afternoon. The Panthers acquired him for a 2024 fifth-round pick. And first things first, was this the right move for Carolina? Just kind of ignoring the Baker side of things for right now, considering the Panthers have Sam Darnold and they just drafted Matt Corral. Do you think this is a good move?
No, I don't, because if I were the Panthers, I just want to blow everything up. Because Baker's good enough, kind of like Tyrod Taylor with the Bills, right? Tyrod wasn't the franchise guy, but he was good enough to get you like 8-9 wins. I think they even got a playoff trip out of Tyrod Taylor. Like, he's good, but he's not good enough to win you everything. But he's also too good to put you at the bottom of the barrel and have a full-on rebuild go on. So with that scheme of things, like in the scheme of all that, I don't think that this is the right move by Carolina.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I hadn't really thought of that. Like that they were somewhat on the brink where like if they were to blow it up, completely rebuild, it wouldn't be a bad idea. It would kind of make sense. But that is interesting. I was going to say yes. I think it's the right move because I think Baker Mayfield is far and away better than Sam Darnold.
Oh, for sure.
But the only thing is, it's confusing with them drafting Matt Corral now. Like what is he supposed to do? Or do they see Baker Mayfield as a short-term quarterback? Like do they see him only staying in Carolina for 1-2 years, maybe as like a bridge, or what's the word for like Ryan Fitzpatrick, how he was like a bridge quarterback? Or
yeah, that's the right term.
Okay, that is it. Yeah, so basically like just a bridge for him in Carolina to see if they can get something for him, once he's done, or most likely he'll be leaving as a free agent just if somebody wants him.
Yeah, he'll probably leave in free agency because like Matt Rule is like definitely getting fired after this year. Like he's pretty much done for it unless he goes like 12-5 and wins a playoff game.
Yeah, it's like a crazy bounce back year.
Yeah, which is not happening with this roster.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've seen plenty of – I know this is aside from the quarterback conversation, but I've seen plenty of TikToks and just jokes about, like, fantasy football, how, you're sitting there with the first round, like, number 5 overall pick or something. McCaffrey's on the board. And then you're ready to end your season by week 6. Just click the button. Like, it's inevitable. So that's another reason to blow it up. Like, I was going to say no, they shouldn't because they have a guy like Christian McCaffrey, but – honestly, if I was the Panthers, with as often as he gets injured, I'd fucking trade McCaffrey, dude. You could probably get a lot for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a liability to an extent, I don't know. Liability is a strong word for it.
He's a highly paid running back that hasn't been on the field for the past 2 years.
Exactly.
Basically none at all.
The majority of that time.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's not looking good for Christian McCaffrey stock.
So what's interesting, though, with this whole, Baker going to the Panthers is now the Browns and Panthers play each other in week 1. And I'm very excited for this. The odds have already changed quite a bit with Baker as the expected starter in Carolina. The opening spread was originally Browns -4.5, and now they're only 1-point favorites. So here we have basically a situation where the Browns just absolutely mistreated the quarterback that got them their first playoff win in the last 30 years. Kind of the first time the organization has been turned around in a long, long time. So they basically kick him to the curb, right? After they kick him to the curb, somebody's like, hey, we'll take him. Here's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to play. The Panthers are going to beat them by like 40 points. And this is going to be the most Cleveland Browns story ever. That the guy they kick to the curb comes in and beats the brakes off of them. Like, I just see it happening. I'm putting all my money on Panthers money line come week 1. Even though I'm not a Baker guy, I think he's got to get his revenge.
Yeah, I love it so much, and I know everyone else is going to do this too. It's making me not want to do it, but I'm still going to do it anyway because I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that revenge tour that Baker's on. That's good. Yeah. He's going to be on. Because week 1, like, immediately he gets to play his old team. Like, hell yeah. Unless he loses the job to Sam Darnold, that would just be embarrassing.
That would be embarrassing. I don't see that happening, though. I mean, there's a shot, I guess, but considering they basically got him for like pennies and scraps, they have no reason to, force him into the job per se. But I don't know. I like this kind of villain arc that is developed on, in the media for Baker Mayfield. Like he's about to, just take it all out on Cleveland whenever he gets the chance. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I hope so. That would be awesome.
Hey, he's gonna need a new house too now because according to the commercials, he lives at the stadium.
Maybe he just moves into Panther Stadium.
Yeah,
the progressive commercials.
Yeah, I was about to say we're gonna get a whole new progressive line.
I think he might chill out on the commercials too, because I think that's where he went wrong in Cleveland. A lot of people gave him a lot of shit for that. It's because he wasn't doing very good, and then you see his face like 5 times a game, and you're just like, dude. Even though they're shot like all before the season, it's still kind of like, what are you doing on these commercials, dude? Like, go play football.
Yeah, because I know, obviously athletes doing commercials is a big thing for sponsorship and all that and promoting it. But what other athlete have you seen in a commercial like as frequently as Baker Mayfield during over the course of an NFL season? Maybe Peyton Manning was in a decent amount, but that was more towards like the latter half of his career. Drew Brees maybe in a couple. Eli Manning in a couple, but
Cam Newton was in.
Yeah, he was in a decent
in his prime.
Amount.
He's always in those yogurt commercials.
Dak
is in a lot.
Yeah, I have seen Dak too.
Dak's
I was gonna say I remember Cam Newton being in those like Play 60 commercials.
Okay, yeah, but that was sponsored by the NFL.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that's a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, classic.
I can't really think of anybody else like as prominent as Baker Mayfield has been in them, but. Yeah, I agree, though, that was kind of one area where he went wrong in Cleveland. But, going forward, new team, new opportunity, new chance to prove himself. This is a little bit of a long-term question, and obviously not this season with the Panthers roster. So, do you think Baker Mayfield will ever win a Super Bowl as a Carolina Panther? And furthermore, will he win a Super Bowl at all now that, his career's kind of resurged at a new team?
Probably not. I'm gonna lean heavily towards the under on this.
Yeah, the under 0.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree too.
Probably like minus 1,000 under.
Honestly, yeah, I would have to say definitely not. One, because the situation he just got brought in is not a Super Bowl winning organization at the moment, and two, because Baker Mayfield is not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's the kind of quarterback that you win a Super Bowl with, not the kind of quarterback that wins you a Super Bowl. So I just even saying that, I don't know if Baker Mayfield's quarterback you win a Super Bowl with. Like he's kind of on the fringe for that.
Probably not, unless he had like a super elite defense, super elite running game, and he had the best season of his life.
Yeah, exactly. And so going back to the Browns, Browns Panthers controversy in Week 1, who do you think is going to finish with a better record this season? Now that the Browns are likely going to be without Deshaun Watson for the entire season, and Carolina has Baker Mayfield, who's taking the Browns to the playoffs. It's tough.
I'd say very similar seasons with like 7 and 10 being the over/under.
I like that.
Both going to be in that range with Jacoby Brissett, and then Baker Mayfield's definitely a better quarterback than Jacoby, but
Browns have such a better roster.
Yeah, the Browns have a much better roster, and the Panthers are just, they have holes everywhere. Matt Rule has kind of ruined that team, even though it already was bad, but made it worse.
Yeah, I am also kind of in the same boat because I don't really know what to expect for the Browns. It's really hard to put a pin in it because although I'm kind of going off the assumption that Deshaun Watson's not going to play this year, he might play half the season, which would be a pretty big difference. But even with Brissett at quarterback, I feel like just having the roster that they do, the Browns will probably win 1 or 2 more games than Carolina. I know the Panthers over/under win total for the year is set at 6.5. I assume the Browns would be higher. So I'm going to say the Panthers go like 6-11, and the Browns go 7 and 10, 8 and 9. So all right around the same area. I would probably give it to the Browns though, even with Brissett at quarterback, just because their roster is better. All right. And that's it for Baker Mayfield over there. So we'll see how that revenge tour goes.
I don't have anything else to add with that.
Nah, I mean, I think we've hit all the major points in terms of how it's going to transpire. But speaking of July 4th, as we've already mentioned, the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest went down this weekend, where Joey Chestnut, if you're unfamiliar, the GOAT of Goblin Glizzies, Joey Chestnut won his 15th hot dog eating contest title, downing 63 hot dogs in 10 minutes, which is ridiculous, even though that was still kind of his worst performance in like the past 5 years. So if you're a gambling man, as Elijah and I am, there are lines on everything. And there was lines on the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. I think the winner was Joey Chestnut minus 5,000. The field, anybody else plus 2,000. So ridiculous. And Joey Chestnut's individual over-under was set at 74 and a half hot dogs, which means he would have had to have averaged 75 hot dog or 7.5 hot dogs a minute. That's just not even humanly comprehensible. I don't understand how people can do that whatsoever.
So last 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes. They're Goblin Glizzies. Have you ever watched it live?
No.
Dude, best 10 minutes of the year. It's like the Kentucky Derby, but for food. It's the best 10 minutes of television all year. This year was kind of wild though, because normally, they're just all like in a line. They have their jug of water that they literally dunk the hot dogs in. Like they dunk them in water to get them all like soaking wet, and then.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen replays.
And so this year though, there was a vegan protest like in the middle of the 10 minutes. So did you see the video of Joey Chestnut like choke slamming this girl?
No, I heard about it, but I definitely want to see this.
Or I don't know if it was a girl or boy, but yeah, here, actually, let me pull this up. So Joey Chestnut, for those that don't know, at the hot dog eating contest, this girl got a sign that I don't know what it read exactly, but jumped straight in front of Joey Chestnut and interrupted his routine kind of. And this man just choke slammed him / her. I don't really know. Slamming protester. All right, let's pull this up for all to see. This is next level stuff. Give me a second. Work with me here. All right, video. Joey Chestnut bodies protester during eating a hot dog. All right. Pulling up the screen here now. God, dude, when I watched this, it was beautiful. All right, you ready? Boom! And it's gonna replay, I guess.
Oh shit.
Wait, I want to pause it. Can we see what it says? Okay. So it says what?
Exposed mystified Death Star? No idea what that means.
I'm gonna look that up. What does that mean? Exposed mystified Death Star? I have no idea. That doesn't even. I don't know. Maybe not mystified because there's no Y. It looks like Midisfield. Midisfield, like a city almost.
I see MITH. I think it's
Mythfield, maybe, but like with an I.
Shit, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. But regardless, you see just getting absolutely choked by Chestnut here.
In the middle of it.
Yeah, just
and he
in the middle.
Still continues to win.
Yeah, that's the heart of a champion right there. But literally, I don't know if, his low score, because for 63 for Joey Chestnut is a pretty low score. And I don't know if it was because of the vegan, because he had a broken foot, had to enter on crutches. But I don't know. That was probably the most eventful hot dog eating contest you can get when there's a choke slam in it. They also have you ever heard of Badlands Chugs on TikTok? Dude, it's like this really big dude. And he got famous just for chugging whatever people told him to in the comments. And so now they have a lemonade chugging contest as well, like at the hot dog contest. And this man chugged, I think it was like 2 or 3 gallons of lemonade in like less than a minute. Just fucking downed it. Like,
open his throat and just let it flow in.
yeah. Like, oh my God, so much sugar, bro. Fuck that. But okay, main takeaway from this year's hot dog eating contest, though. I know this isn't really breaking sports news, when it's a hot dog, but Joey Chestnut now has more titles than any athlete in the history of sports in a single individual event. And Rafael Nadal is in second place. I think the Australian Open, maybe. I forget which one exactly, with 14 titles. Joey Chestnut, now number 1, above Michael Jordan, above LeBron James, above Tiger Woods. What does this mean, Elijah? Does this mean Joey Chestnut is the greatest athlete of our generation?
Some people would say yes. Some people would say yes. I'm not one of those people, but I've been hearing it. I've been hearing it a lot. That this is the guy.
It's worth a question. I mean, if you can win 15 titles, I don't know.
He's definitely the greatest eater of all time. The Geet.
I mean, he was simply like designed for. Have you seen like a close-up picture of him? Because his jaws, dude, are like. His mouth is like to my ears, bro. It is the widest mouth I've ever seen, like out here, just naturally.
Really?
Yeah. So when he opens, it's like twice the size as my mouth. Like he's just literally made. Yeah. It's like the what is the jaws of the like firefighters use?
Jaws of Life.
Yeah, Jaws of Life basically just opens them up, and it's like Jesus Christ. But no, I'm not one of those people as well. Although it's fun to speculate and kind of hype Joey Chestnut up.
It's fun just to say it.
Yeah, his intro,
because you could definitely just say that and just piss someone off.
Yeah, like big Jordan guy, big I don't know LeBron guy, just dude, like why are you guys talking about the GOAT debate? Like Joey Chestnut, dude, he passed him way long ago.
I think I'm already pushing my hot take with the GOAT debate, having Tiger Woods as my all-time.
I don't think that's that hot of a take.
I've heard it from other people, but I could see some big LeBron guys or big Jordan guys just being absolutely offended by that.
Well, or even I am a big LeBron guy.
Brady.
Yeah, there are Brady guys too. I'm a big LeBron guy, and I'm also like now I've gotten more and more into it as I've started playing, and I've been watching, but I never really grew up a huge golf guy, so like for me, I still have Tiger Woods in like at least like my top 3 probably greatest athletes of all time. I don't know. It's such a hard question because you got like Bo Jackson too. That could definitely be considered greatest athlete. And if we're talking about like true athleticism, that's like a whole nother conversation with like guys like Deion Sanders, So anyway, that's a conversation for a different day. We could go all night and all day talking about the GOAT of all GOATs, but let's get into what we came for, and that is college football discussion because the Big 12 is not dead, folks. Last week, we talked about kind of all the chaos that's going down with USC and UCLA leaving the Pac-12 and joining the USC. We were mostly talking about the idea that it seemed like the Big Ten and SEC were going to take over, have a 2-conference system. They were going to reign supreme throughout the college football days, but no, that is not happening. At least I hope it's not, because the Big 12 is being aggressive, very aggressive. There are reports now, and a lot of reports from a lot of different sources, that the new Big 12 commissioner, Yormark, has been super aggressive, which as a TCU fan, as a Big 12 guy, I love to see because Bob Bowlesby, the former Big 12 commissioner, fucking sucked. He was not good at his job. And already, Yormark, he came from Rock Nation with like Jay-Z. He ran their sports sector. So interesting, but I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, though, they're aggressive. They're looking to get 6 Pac-12 schools to join their conference and make it an 18-team conference. And those 6 teams include Oregon, which would be the biggest grab right now probably in college football, Washington, Arizona State, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah. So what would this mean for college football, Elijah?
Well, this would mean that it's going to be a big 3. I think the ACC would look at this, Clemson would look at this, Florida State would look at this, and they'd be like, all right, we're going to the Big 12 or the SEC. That's going to be a done deal. Big 12 won't be able to get big dogs like that. but I think it would be crazy good, and then we somehow get a Power 4, maybe? Or no, well, ACC might be dead, so a Power 3 at least, and then a new group of 5, basically, with the Pac-12 possibly being that, taking over a lot of Mountain West teams, and the remaining, or even the remaining Pac-12 teams just go into the Mountain West and be like the Pac-12 is just officially dead. I don't know. ACC also, I just have no idea because that's going to be up to Clemson. Clemson is going to decide what goes on in that division or in that conference, no matter what.
Yeah, no, I agree. Kind of like it. Yes, it kind of gives more of a direction rather than just the Big Ten and SEC. You know, we may definitely have a Big Three now. Opens the floodgates though in terms of possibilities for the Pac-12 and ACC. The most likely outcome, I think, is that the Pac-12 will just completely cease to exist. All of their teams will move elsewhere. I think the Big Ten might go try and grab, like, say, a Washington State and Oregon State, just because geographically it might make sense. But you're right, it doesn't really fit. I know, but and also it opens up the possibility of the ACC being no more because now that the Big 12 is being aggressive and bolstering their roster, the SEC is going to get more aggressive in terms of trying to secure Clemson, trying to secure FSU, UNC, Virginia. So I think the Big Three is a lot more I don't know. That's kind of where we're headed right now based off all these reports. But again, nobody really knows because no dominoes have fallen yet. Like earlier in the episode, I said a Pac-12 team leaving is going to be the first domino, and that's true. And if you look at one of the biggest turning points will be Oregon. Probably the two biggest turning points is going to be Oregon and Notre Dame. And I have no idea what the fuck Notre Dame is going to do, which we'll get into in a second. But first, do you think the Big Ten is going to try and go for Oregon?
I don't see why they wouldn't want to. I mean, Oregon's the biggest fish left out of the Pac-12, and I think everyone should want to try and add them, even the SEC and the ACC. I hope to God that the Big 12 pulls it off, because if the Big 12 pulls it off, they're not dead. They've solidified themselves as the third best conference, and they're going to be alive and kicking, and Big 12 football is back and better than ever. Because also, too, like, scheme-wise, they kind of fit in with the Big 12 style of play already.
Yeah, way more than anywhere else, yeah.
Yeah, so I could see why that would be some of the appeal for Oregon to join, but if I'm being realistic, I think the most likely scenario is that the Big 12 is going to fumble the bag, and we're looking at Big Ten, SEC, two super power conferences with all the best teams, and everyone else is left to bite the dust.
I'm getting a little bit more optimistic that we won't just have, an AFC and NFC kind of like the NFL, but, that is certainly a possibility. Yes, I do think the Big Ten is for sure going to go for Oregon because why wouldn't they? And like you said, though, in terms of the Big 12 not being dead, I think even more so the fact that Oregon being like a great football program is, for the conference's sake, they are a nationally recognized brand. Like, you lose Oklahoma, you lose UT. Those are two of the top 10 brands in all of collegiate sports, just in terms of, like you look at Oregon, they have all the Nike money. They have a great recruiting portal, like pipeline. So, and they have a lot of primetime TV games. So you want to talk about a TV market? You want to talk about bringing more money in for the conference? Oregon is that. Whether or not they're having a great football season or not, Oregon is that school. So Oregon's going to be huge. And also Notre Dame, because what the hell is going to happen to independent Notre Dame? Nobody really knows right now. They've been the stubborn one of the bunch for as long as I can remember. They have been an independent team, never joined the conference, even though they've had slight affiliation with the ACC. They do play a lot of ACC teams, but their football team just refuses to join a conference. And I think with the way the college football world is headed, they don't have a choice. I don't think being independent is going to work out much longer. I mean, look at BYU. They're joining the Big 12. They gave that up. I think it's time for Notre Dame to give it up. But will they? That's the question.
I don't know. I mean, they have their own TV rights with NBC.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, and we're talking brands that are top 3 brand.
Yeah,
which
pretty
is
much.
infuriating.
Kind of stupid.
Yeah, I hate Notre Dame so much.
I
But
don't have that passionate feelings, but I see why people are annoyed by them because of the whole independent thing.
yeah, I don't know. I've just kind of grown up like the teams like Notre Dame, USC, like teams that have such like respect in terms of history and their name brand, but just have never produced in my lifetime, yet still get preseason top 10 rankings and everything. It's irked me the wrong way for a long time. But so with all this being said, the rumors of actually there's another one that my brother sent me this map. Let me see it real quick. I had a map of the potential new conferences. So it has the Big 12 adding, of course, the new guys, BYU, UCF, Houston, Cincinnati, but also getting like the ones we mentioned, Washington, Oregon, and those 4, which would be great. I think Arizona State make a lot of sense geographically. You get BYU and Utah back. That establishes a few more rivalry games within the conference.
Holy War
Holy
being
War
back would be big.
It would. It would be huge. You get Colorado, who has Big 12 history, makes a lot of sense to me. And it'll also be a fun away trip to go to Boulder. And also now the new Big 10, they have them adding Stanford as well as Notre Dame. So Notre Dame and Stanford would be joining the Big 10. And then they have the SEC adding Clemson, UNC, Miami, and Florida State, not Virginia. And then they also have the ACC extending to grab USF, South Florida, Florida Atlantic.
Oh, gross.
San Diego State, Fresno State, Cal Berkeley, Oregon State, and Washington State. That is not a Power 5 conference.
No. Why would they even go? Why is Boise State not on any of those lists?
That's a good point. I think if anybody, Boise State and SMU should probably be the first 2 group of 5 teams to be snagged.
Probably.
Maybe I can see San Diego State, though. They have a case. But FAU, Florida Atlantic in a Power 5 conference?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I personally think it's more likely that the ACC is going to get fucked over once Clemson leaves, that they're just going to be screwed and everybody's going to try and vouch for themselves. So my predictions based on all these rumors of everybody getting aggressive and just basically waiting and the clock ticking until we see the next domino fall is I'm going to go with what you mentioned earlier. And I think a 3-conference system arises. The Pac-12 ACC will be no longer. And a lot of teams are going to get fucked over. A lot of those smaller schools, like maybe a Georgia Tech, who has history, but isn't necessarily that name brand that's going to bring you a lot of money as a conference, or teams like Cal Berkeley, who are great academically, haven't done much athletically. So I think a lot of teams are going to get screwed. They're going to get left out. It's going to be chaos, every man for themselves. But I think the Big 12, with the path they're headed on, they're going to be safe if everything goes accordingly. Pac-12 is screwed. Big 10, SEC, they're fine no matter what. So praying, and I think that's what's going to happen at this moment in time. What about you?
See, I mean, I would hope for that to happen, and the Big 12 adds those 6 teams. That'd be awesome. But like I said, I just think that they're going to fumble the bag on Oregon and Washington, and we just have 2 super conferences.
Well, here's another interesting take. So although the Big 12 is getting aggressive in terms of going to add new teams, say we're TCU guys, so we'll just use TCU for the equation. Say you're TCU and the SEC offers you right now. Right now they offer Oklahoma State, they offer Baylor, they offer Tech. Say they offer even just 2 of those teams. They offer you and Baylor, your rival, okay? What do?
Take that.
Right? Like that's what I'm kind of worried about, is that the SEC and Big 10 are going to come out of nowhere poaching like teams that nobody expected them to, just because they want to screw over these other conferences and have that superiority 2-conference system working, because it would make sense in terms of the Big 10 winner plays the SEC winner for the national championship, if that's the world we were going to live in. But with 3 conferences makes it a little bit more challenging to have like a direct path to the title game. So I worry that the SEC might do that. And the thing is, like, if I was TCU, as a TCU fan, I think you have to take that, because if you have an offer into the top 2, you take it, because that's the safe. That's the only secure thing that's going on in the world right now is the Big Ten and the SEC. Although the Big 12 looks like it's going to be fine, fuck the other teams. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Like, if you go get your money, you go secure your athletic program. Like, I don't care about our slight rivalry with Tech or something, battle for the saddle. Screw it, bro. Like, get your bag, secure your high athletic competition, and go on about your day.
Right.
But yeah, so this will probably just continue updating. I'm sure we will probably even talk about it on next episode, but probably further down the line.
Hopefully we have 6 new teams in the Big 12.
That's what I was going to say. Is hopefully stuff has actually happened, because last week I kind of thought it was any day. I thought maybe by this week we would have new conferences already. So
yeah, and KD being on a different team.
Yeah, that's a big bummer, bro. KD, there's been like no news about that come out in like the last week. It's been kind of quiet. I don't know if I like that. It's been pretty dormant.
Yeah.
But anyway, though, we will get to that and probably have some more NBA free agency next week, because it's been pretty quiet, not even just for KD. So let's go ahead and get into some love it or loathe it. You want to take the first batch or me?
Let's see. Yeah, I'll take the first batch.
All right, so first things first, Chet Holmgren, number 2 draft pick for the Oklahoma City Thunder, put up 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 blocks in his summer league debut.
I love it, just because the one thing that I think is definitely going to stick around for Chet is the blocks. He was an elite shot blocker in college, and I think he'll probably definitely be a elite shot blocker in the NBA, if not anything else.
Yeah, and then in his second game today, I think he put up like 4 blocks as well. So it's like,
it's insane.
That's going to be like league leading if he continues that. And I know summer league is a bit different, but yeah, that's definitely going to translate.
Still, blocks are hard to come by in any league.
Exactly. Yeah. And speaking of Chet Holmgren, next up we got Kevin Durant praises Chet Holmgren's debut on Twitter.
Yeah, I love this because it could lead to your fan fiction theory that you got going on for KD to the Thunder.
Yes, sir.
Might prove true.
Hey.
OKC has a lot to offer. They have the picks. They could do it without trading away some of their players that they want to hang on to, like Josh Giddey, Shai. Maybe part ways with Lou Dort, I guess.
I think he is the most open of the 3, but they just signed him to like that huge ass deal. So
still, though, that doesn't mean anything in the NBA.
Yeah, I did though. I talked to one of my buddies that goes to Oklahoma, like OU, and he was just we were talking about this, and I told him that I really want to see KD go back to OKC, and he was like, "Dude, I've been there, bro. They fucking hate that man. Like, still, the entire city of Oklahoma City hates Kevin Durant. Like, and I'm like, really? Like, to the point that they wouldn't even want him back? And he's like, I can't speak for everybody, but like the fans I've talked to, probably not. And I'm like, dude, really? That's kind of a bummer to me. I want to see the homecoming, you know?
Well, if he came back, the love would turn right back around.
Exactly, because he's Kevin Durant. Like, you know, when LeBron left Cleveland, people burned his jerseys, people cursed his name. And then when he came back, he was the savior of the city. He gave Ohio the first championship in forever. Like, it's just catch-22.
I mean, OKC would be bad for like the first 2 years, but as soon as some of those guys develop a little bit, like, oh, whoa, like, watch out with KD.
Dude, I think OKC, with or without acquiring Kevin Durant in like a mega deal, I think OKC is 5 years away from being a serious title contender. They have such a bright future. Maybe 6. Maybe 6, 7, 8. I don't know.
I'd say 7. 7 for the over 7 range.
Yeah, over under 7 years until they contend for a title. I like that. All right, and then next up we got Jaguars dismiss Josh Lambo's lawsuit. Oh boy.
Loathe it. I guess it didn't go through. His lawsuit against Urban Meyer, the disgrace known as Urban Meyer, didn't go through. So, whatever.
Yikes. And then last on your list, we got New York Yankees GM says the team is putting Aaron Judge contract on hold until the end of the season.
Yeah, mark my words right now. Aaron Judge is not going to be a Yankee after this year. He's going to get the bag somewhere else. He's chasing money. Definitely, it's going to be from a contender. He's not going to go to somebody like the Cubs or
for sure. Yeah,
a bad team.
Judge.
But he's going to go to a contending team that offers him the most money. Anyone that's somewhat good, he's gone. So if the Yankees can't offer him what he wants, then I just don't think it's happening. Because if it was going to happen, it would have happened at this point.
I haven't really heard much about like the contract situation. So it's expiring this year. He wants a shit ton of money. Yankees aren't willing to give it to him.
I don't think they want the number that he's commanding, which is probably going to be in the $500 million.
Yeah, it's probably going to be like a Fernando Tatis, Bryce Harper type contract. Yeah.
It'd be more than Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's like $300 million. It'd be like Trout. Trout type contract.
Jesus Christ, dude. All right, well, that's fun. Hopefully, I guess I was going to say, hopefully the Rangers are in the mix, but we're not a contender. We're not. We got money to spend probably, but that's not happening.
I don't want to spend. Yeah, I would.
I would want Aaron Judge on the team, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, we need an outfielder too, so it would work out.
All right, what you got for me?
Okay, Jameis Winston throwing without brace on surgically repaired left knee.
I love it. The man 30 for 30 himself on the comeback. Haven't necessarily heard much talk about Winston this offseason, but, I'm looking forward to a bounce-back year from the future MVP of going perfect interception-touchdown ratio.
Awesome. Yeah, have you seen some of his training videos? They're getting just wilder and wilder.
I know he does weird stuff, like kind of obscure training methods sometimes, and I've seen a few in the past, but I haven't really heard much this offseason.
I see one pop up every now and then. It's just like, I don't know where he comes up with this shit.
Where is he learning these techniques? Yeah, like I saw one where he would just like have like these dummies be picked up and like completely thrown at him like while he's just standing in his stance, and it's like and he's not even avoiding them. It's like, I don't know what that's going to help improve, like
pocket awareness.
But he's not moving. He's just standing there, like taking, like I don't know, weird stuff. I don't know, dude. But all right, what's next?
Reports say that no one but the Lakers are bidding for Kyrie.
So I love this because I personally would love to see a Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook swap deal. I want to see Kyrie Irving, LeBron, the reunion, and I think if that happens, the Lakers are an instant title contender, which is ironic to say after how they played last season. But you have Kyrie, LeBron, and AD. Like, if you don't at least make the playoffs, just all of you should retire, especially LeBron. Just retire immediately if you don't make the playoffs with that roster. But I love it. Not so much because Kyrie's not as hot of a commodity as he was expected to be because he's kind of a locker room cancer, but I think I'd be excited to watch that basketball. Watch LeBron and Kyrie play again. Be fun.
Yeah, I think most basketball fans would.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers gets his first tattoo.
I'm gonna load this, and I'm gonna have to pull it up on.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
It is definitely interesting. All right, let's see this. Aaron Rodgers new tattoo. I don't even know how to describe it, bro. Like
he called it deep and meaningful.
Oh wait, it even has the Instagram caption, bro. Okay, wait. Let's see. Here we go. Share screen. Twitter. All right. So, as you can see from this tattoo, and by the way, for love or to loathe sake, I'm going to loathe it because this is just like kind of the most Aaron Rodgers social media type thing that I've seen the past few months. So the caption says, first tattoo from the GOAT himself, and then he tags the artist, which is fine. Grateful for his mastery and membership. There's a deep and meaningful story and connection to absolutely each element of this art piece, and I'll share a little more about that one day. For now, just thankful for the artist and his patience and artistry. Hashtag tattoo, hashtag astrology, hashtag the elements, and then one hashtag that he didn't even fill out.
You know what? This tattoo's kind of sick.
I mean, so I gotta say, like, in terms of the artwork and like lining and detail, it is very impressive. Like the artist did a very,
Dude,
very good job on this.
The
tattoo.
ocean and sunrise on that bad boy is cool. The lions are kind of cliche. It's got the all-seeing eye in the middle, and it's got some constellations for astrology, which I think is... Astrology can be cool. It's a little too much overplayed, but it can be cool. So, like, I'm gonna go ahead and say I rock with this tattoo. I wouldn't get it, but
I wouldn't get it. But for me, this tattoo screams more like, I don't know, maybe like fraternity boy that just went through some life-altering event. You know?
Oh, he backpacked through Europe and now he's different.
Yeah, like that's actually exactly what it is. Yeah, somebody like that, or somebody that goes to like rave festivals and like all their experiences have, you know, altered their mindset. Yada yada. That's what I see. Not a 40-something-year-old MVP caliber NFL quarterback. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hater, but it's just weird to me that this is on Aaron Rodgers' arm. You know,
I saw a Twitter reply and it said, "I can smell the essential oils."
Exactly. That's the vibes I get from this tattoo.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, neither here nor there. What you got next?
Michael Jordan is the cover athlete for 2K23.
Ooh, I was not aware of this one. I have no reason to loathe it, so love it.
It's 23.
Yeah, it's 23. Oh, that makes perfect sense. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Jordan year, bro. Yeah, that's actually even better. Definitely love that. I always like when they kind of at least make it like an option to have legends. I remember I really liked it a long time ago on 2K11.
Or 2K11.
One of the two, I forget, where you could like choose which legend was on your cover. It was pretty sweet.
Or I think it was 2K12 though, when you could have Michael Jordan like join like your
your my team and there was a lot where there was like the Michael Jordan challenges and everything.
Yeah, and you got to unlock them.
Yeah, I hope they do something like that on the new one. But
oh hell yeah.
Yeah, overall that's pretty sweet. Alrighty though, that is going to be it for this week's episode. Like we said, there's probably going to be a lot popping off in the next 7 days in terms of NBA free agency, college football, conference realignment. Who knows exactly what's going to happen, but when it does happen, Elijah and I will be here to discuss what exactly it means and give our take on it. So appreciate you guys listening, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.